Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast 379. Tim Miller, the disc golf guy, alongside Johnny V.
I figured we were going to have AJ Risley on again this week.
Yeah, that's according to the last moment updates in the YouTube titling.
I updated, as everyone knows, we're having Simon Lizotte on tonight. I updated everything in my broadcast system, but I forgot to hit the titles on YouTube and such before I hit go live. So I did update them right now, but I don't know if they're going to take. But we are having Simon on. As much as we love AJ, we can't have that guy on 2 weeks in a row.
No.
It'll be the AJ show.
And I understand you getting flustered. We're only 379 of these in. We'll get it dialed in sooner or later, maybe.
If you're not making mistakes, then you're not trying to excel or improve.
Right. Okay.
That's right.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that. All right. As Johnny just alluded to, in just a few seconds here, we're going to have Simon Lizotte join us. And when we're done chatting with him, we'll also get a few other updates, things going around in the wide world of disc golf, and also quickly recap PDGA C tier that I had the pleasure of hosting, along with a tremendous staff and crew that was there as an awesome support network to host the cold turkey. When it was all said and done, we had more than 180 people over the 2 days, including the flex start. So I guess without further ado,
that's still only like a third of the people that actually came to see Simon when he was here.
That's true. He's a popular fella, and apparently he's going to be getting real busy. I don't know why he's talking to us, because Vlogmas starts tomorrow. Welcoming to the show, we've got Simon Lizotte. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Well, I am actively taking notes for my next upcoming episodes, so I'm locked in the zone.
And
Nice.
and I'm gonna spill a secret right off the top. A couple of them. First of all, you've committed to the idea of doing Vlogmas. For anyone who's not familiar somehow or some way with the YouTubes or yourself, explain exactly what that means. Let's start right there.
Yeah, so actually Eagle McMahon has been doing Vlogmas for at least 4 seasons, maybe 5. So he kind of course, brought me to this madness idea. And it basically means it's like a lead up to Christmas from the 1st to the 24th. 24 videos in a row, daily vlogs. It really puts into perspective what life could be. And last year I did it for the first time ever, and I kind of promised myself that I'm never going to do it again because I was not prepared enough, and it was just a mental and physical struggle, especially because I was going through my elbow joint, and I couldn't just go play a run of disc golf and here's my video. So this year I have it a bit easier. I'm also better prepared. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, but at the same time a bit scared.
So 2 more secrets that are actual secrets is, 1, you don't have any pre-filmed at all, and 2, you have a list. You are prepared. Like did you have all 24 days laid out? Is that what I saw on your list?
Yeah, I'm not going to tease that right now because, of course, I want to keep them surprises. It's like opening the door of your calendar every day. So that's kind of the idea of Vlogmas. You don't want to have people know what's coming next. And I've been planning for probably over a month these videos. So I can tease a bit. I have a weekly podcast coming just for Vlogmas. So we're doing 3 episodes of the Simon Says podcast. I'm going to do that in the Nick and Matt studio. So, but it has nothing to do with Nick and Matt. It's just going to be me in that studio. And it'll be very interactive, playing disc golf games. And I'm a bit worried about that because I don't feel enough prepared to do like a live show for an hour. But I was actively taking notes for that right now, trying to find like good segments and fun things to do. I'm going to have a special guest during Vlogmas for 3 or 4 episodes who's flying in. So that's going to be fun. Someone that's actually never been on my channel, I think, which is actually crazy because we're like good buddies. Other than that, I filmed my first video today. I went up to Maine. It was all over my Instagram. This is not a secret anymore, but I'm posting the first episode of Vlogmas tomorrow for that. A little collab, or actually a big collab with a brewery up in Maine. And I'm pretty stoked about that project. So tomorrow's video is going to be exciting.
I mean, you're combining all the things you love: vlogging, disc golf, and beer. I mean, what more is there?
Pool and door be the ultimate trifecta, I guess. But
And
no,
now,
it was a great day. I learned so much today about the brewing process as well.
I'll get back to that in 1 second, but is the podcast, you're saying that's not necessarily going to be part of the vlogs? That's in addition to doing all of the vlogs that you're planning on doing. Is that a fair statement?
No, so technically it's 21 vlogs and 3 live shows. So the live shows are part of Vlogmas. They're like 3 Thursdays of next month are going to be live shows, which is part of Vlogmas.
And
not a video plus the live show.
So you've been around YouTube's long enough, not just in disc golf, but you've got to know the likes and maybe one of the most famous YouTube vloggers of all time in Casey Neistat. Did you ever watch or partake any Casey Neistat, who did it for like literally 3 consecutive years every single day?
I know about it. The daily vlogging was introduced to me more through Logan Paul. I'm a bit ashamed, but that's the truth.
Cut the show. I've had enough of this guy.
I've watched some Casey Neistat here and there. I don't know, never really got pulled into that. But the fact that he did it, and I know of multiple YouTubers who've done it in multiple years in a row. Daily vlogging it's very close to madness and like insane. It's almost insane.
And the last thing I'll say on that is Casey Neistat, who's done stuff for HBO. He's gone on to become a millionaire and make all these companies and do all this amazing stuff. His were so incredibly unique and interesting, and it wasn't. I won't say it wasn't ever really the easy way out of like, oh, hey, I'm just going to do this and chat with my friend for 15 minutes and then throw it on YouTube. I mean, he had well-produced videos that he put together, usually I think exclusively on his own at the time, every single day. And he lived in New York City and traveled around the world and did all these amazing things. And I was turned on to him by Miles Parkhill, and he's technology and New York City and culture. He's just so many things. It was definitely amazing to see. And you're right. It looks insane.
Yeah. He was totally a one-of-a-kind talent and pioneer. Like, he was the first guy to like really do that.
Yeah.
So he's the sickest, clearly. I just never really got pulled into that.
So let's talk about your day-to-day. Let's talk a little bit without maybe giving away too much, vlog info, but it's fair to say that you've been a fan of beer for a while, but you've had some really great relationships that include other people that have put together brews and that you've worked with. When you say that you learn so much about the process, is it how big their tanks are and what beer you're releasing and how long it needs to sit versus another beer? What were some of the highlights or things that you took in today?
So the brewery, that was very much German of me. The brewery I worked with, or I'm working with in Maine, is Mast Landing, and they're actually top 4 biggest breweries in Maine. And New England breweries it's just the best. Like, the beers that come out of New England breweries, that's why I live here, kind of. So they have a massive facility, big warehouse, huge freaking tanks. I was like mind blown. Like, I think their warehouse was bigger than the Discmania warehouse. I'm pretty sure it was. It was crazy. It was super fun. And they walked me through step by step, starting with the grains and how you crack open the grains, sugars and sweetness out of there, and the water goes through them and seeps down and goes into the heating tank where you add some hops for bitterness, and then it goes to the fermenting tanks where you add the yeast. And there's even like a lab in the back where you like microscopic look at the yeast on how healthy it is, because that's like alive, and it's really important that you have healthy yeast. And then it stays in those tanks for like a couple of weeks for it to ferment. And then it goes into another tanks where it gets cooled and carbonated, and then it gets into the cans and labeled and shipped. So it was really cool to walk through all those processes, and that's going to be a big part of my video tomorrow.
Now, you haven't been out to Bevel, and of course there's thousands of microbreweries and other breweries that you've probably either been a part of or around, but you haven't specifically been to Bevel yet, have you?
I have not. Nate Doss actually reached out to me today, which is always awesome.
Uh-huh.
Anytime I post something beer related, Nate Doss is the first in my DMs, which is just awesome.
Uh-huh.
So always good to hear from Nate. And I have not made it out to Bevel. I've still not been to Bend, even though I've heard so many great things about it. I think Eagle is one of the most picky guys out there on where he would live, and I think Bend is in his top 3. So I can't wait to go. Hopefully next year, Portland Open, I can get maybe a day or two before or after the event to sneak out to Bend, because it's obviously on the bucket list of places to go for me, 100%.
Yeah, and when Nate and Val had come to Wisconsin around 2016, 2017, and we originally hooked up with Explorium right here, where you've now been a couple of times. I also had that kind of firsthand experience in watching Nate interact with the Explorium, Mike, and the rest of them at Explorium to learn everything that you just talked about today has been so crazy. And then to see that all unfold right there at Bevel as well, it's very exciting for your big beer enthusiasts. All right, so let's backtrack, because clearly outside of Vlogmas, outside of disc golf, you carry on a pretty normal life. We'd like to think, maybe exotic, but normal. You're expecting your first child in about how many weeks did you say?
We're 30 weeks today, so we have statistically 10 more weeks, I think.
Okay, and how do you both feel?
Pretty good. We actually got a checkup today. So we got a new scan today. We got like the 3D scan where you can see the face, and it always looks like an alien and super creepy, but still, of course, very cute and like the cutest kid we've ever seen. But no, it's pretty nuts to think that we're about to be parents. We're getting Natalia's mom is like super excited for the whole thing. She's going to be a grandma for the first time. So we've been receiving like packages at our front door every day, like baby clothes and the crib and stuff for the baby's room. Right after USCGC this year, I went and painted the baby's room, and we have it all set up and ready to go. We got the stroller today. So it's feeling very real. And as much as I'm excited and I feel ready, I also feel very much like I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
You'll never not feel as ready as that first day that you bring it out of the hospital and you have to put it into your car, like in the baby seat, and you're looking at like, am I doing this right? Does it snap in? Do I need to lock? Like, it just never feels. It can be locked down, and it will never feel as safe as you think it should, and it'll be the most stressful car ride, like however long that's going to be, 20 minutes, an hour and a half of your life, until you get your child home. Trust me.
Yeah, I know Avery. I was hanging out with Avery 2 weeks ago. We did a horses, and he has 2 sons. Not that recent, but recent-ish. And he said, like, when you take the baby out of the hospital, they'll just like give you the baby and say like, now it's yours. Good luck. And you're like, how is this legal?
That is very, very true.
So if she's due in 10 weeks, that puts that in the middle-ish of February. Are you
February 8th, official date.
February 8th. So do you plan on hitting any of the early tour season? I know it seems like such a minimal thing for us, but we are a disc golf community, so we know that there's the All-Star event, there's the Disc Golf Con, and then right into Vegas. Are you touching any of that stuff in February?
So I think it would be pretty unwise for me to plan on that right now. So I would say right now, most likely not. On my schedule, my first event is the one in Augusta, Georgia, the new major. So that is right now the plan. I am working on other projects, which, surprise, I can't announce yet. But
yeah, you can.
A bit off the Disc Golf Pro Tour kind of thing, but also something it's going to be legit and pretty cool. So that might be happening before I actually start my touring season, where I'm going to go do some other disc golf related content stuff. Big scale.
All right. Since you can't tell us about that, tell us about something that we're seeing pop up, and I think it may debut as early as tomorrow. You officially teamed up with the Disc Golf Network, and the Disc Golf Network is obviously always looking for great I don't want to call it off season, but winter season content, and give us all the details, what people should expect and why they should go out and subscribe.
Yeah, so I hope most of the watchers here know who Avery Jenkins is. Obviously, great disc golfer, 2009 world champion. He works for Discmania now mainly. He's the team manager, and he works for Disc Golf Park, designing new disc golf courses around the country. I think he's done in the last couple, and this year, like he's done at least one course per month. So it's a pretty busy schedule as well for that. And he came into town to design a new course in Nashua, New Hampshire, which is only like 45 minutes from where I live. So it's actually cool because one of the holes is literally on the border to Massachusetts. So it's one of those state border courses, which I like. And a week before Avery flew in, Jamie Thomas, who is the media manager, I guess, for the Disc Golf Network, who's also a longtime friend. I toured with him back in 2015. So he called me and was like, hey, is there any way we can like collaborate for a little Disc Golf Network action in the off season? Like, can we buy some of your vlog episodes or something? Anything we can do? So I brought up, hey, Avery's visiting me, and maybe we could do like a little course design, vlog style, what goes into kind of like from the first talks to like the city and with all the locals involved, what goes into designing a course like kind of in the middle of the woods in New Hampshire. And Jamie liked the idea. We had no script. We had no plans, like totally Simon style. And I just brought the camera along, and we have 6 episodes. Average, I think, is 14-minute episodes. And it's just Avery and Lizotte stomping through the woods, up and down rocks and hills and swamps, talking about where the next tee pad should go. And there's some disc golf. We play a local disc golf course. We play a different disc golf park in Massachusetts. And it's a lot of just hanging out, talking, and fighting through the woods, which I don't know. I don't know how it will be received. I edited it myself. I shot it myself. I directed it myself. So it is Simon style. It's a bit casual, but I did my best. I mean, I watched the Yuli scratch to scratch videos that were so professionally produced and so entertaining. So I felt a lot of pressure to try to follow that up. And with me just by myself, I don't know. I hope people see what it's supposed to be and they still enjoy it.
Well, let's be real. I mean, how much harsh or real criticism do you get? I mean, you're pretty loved, and sure, I mean, I'm sure some people get a little nitpicky, but for the most part, it seems like we all are entertained by everything you do.
Yeah, but you know how it is. You get 1,000 positive comments and then one bad one, and that's the one that makes you want to stop everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's how my psyche works. I don't know if that's normal or not, but I've heard that from many people.
It's 100% normal for every creative person that they because everyone thinks that the people that love you are going to love you no matter what, and that they're not giving you real praise. But that one critical person doesn't like you, and they clearly are looking past all the BS, and they really see, the real you and what you messed up. It's such a mental mind.
Yeah,
it's very bizarre how humans work.
Yeah. Yes. And you're bringing one into the world. Way to go.
Yeah. Wait, that's on you now.
Another boy too. Unbelievable.
Great. Just what we need. More guys in disc golf.
Oh no, I know.
So looking forward, and what's kind of the release schedule on that for everyone that's wondering?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Jamie just told me December. So okay. I think they're planning maybe second week of December, the first episode, and then one episode per week for 6 weeks. So it'll be done by like the end of January-ish.
Now, talking a little bit about course design, and you've been around plenty of golf for plenty of years, and I'm sure lots of people ask you about input and kind of looking at tracks or designing one. Where is your interest level on that? If somebody said to you, hey, we've got the time, or we've got the money and the project and the land, is that something you'd want to put the time into?
Yes. I have a really hard time with saying no. So I often say yes to too many things at once and then end up not doing things properly because I have too many things on the list. And that's when burnout happens real quick. But so right now in the near future, probably not, but definitely along the road, yes. And the problem with course design is that it's so subjective on what's a good course. And the way I would design a course, I don't know how many people would like a Lizotte design, because for me, fun is by far the most, I mean, safety first, of course, but then fun is like the next huge thing. And a lot of people just look for like the most difficult, challenging, and sometimes gimmicky courses ever. And I'm like, just like, I don't want to play these courses, but people love them. And I just don't understand why. But the longer, the better, the harder, the better. But for me, I would put every basket in sight so you can see where you're going. And I would make fun ace run holes. That's more my style.
Well, and it's funny because somebody online just said, could you imagine a course design by you damn tough? And I think you're saying almost the exact opposite. I mean, it might be tough in some spots, but you want to play for fun. So here's the question that comes up from this is, name a course that maybe no one's heard of or played or is wildly under or overlooked, but is just super fun to you. Is there any course that jumps out at you where it's like, hey, we're never going to play this even for a C tier, but this is one of the most fun courses I play?
Well, the new course in New Hampshire is going to be amazing. Just a quick shout out to our work. It's probably going to be until summer next year, until it's actually like in the ground and ready to play. But that's going to be really cool. I'm actually really happy on what we did there. But I mean, locally, it has to be Clement Farm. I mean, I don't even know why I'm saying this, because no one will have really heard of it unless they're local here. But it's just so good. It's like everything about it is good. Whoever designed that is a genius, and no one knows about it. I've played it. I think I've even played a C tier there, but no pros would ever go to that course. But
no, and that's what I'm looking for, though. I mean, it's funny. I love your perspective. People think that, oh, they want to be super challenged and play, 600-foot wide open bomber shots or whatever. And
that's like my least favorite hole possible.
Yeah, so there you go.
I don't know if I've ever seen Simon jealous before, but this summer at the Celebrity Pro-Am, after we were all done, all I was watching Simon do was like, I think he was surfing Zillow looking for land because he was so jealous of what Ben had, and he's like, this is exactly what I want. Like something, maybe not the course exactly, but like the land and the environment and all that stuff. And I can only imagine what you could do with a plot of land similar to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, now that you bring that up, when we played Valley View, is that what it's called, Terry?
Yep.
I loved that course. Like I would literally go there all the time.
I love that course too.
You just made it Milwaukee erupt in saying that. Yeah, I mean, well, and a little backstory was just that, Steady Ed originally was here in like 93, 94, 95, helped design that and intentionally said no hole is to be over 300 feet. And it had to undergo a bunch of changes, but it's a recreational course, and sometimes those can provide the most amount of fun. It's not just about these crazy lines and how many trees do you have to miss. So that's awesome to hear.
We on the Pro Tour we get to play the long and difficult holes, but when we're playing for fun, casual rounds or practice rounds on the road, don't put your course in the hardest, longest layout if you know we're coming to town. Just let them in the nice and fun one. We would appreciate it.
That is some great advice, because I feel like that's probably one of the things you hear the most is, hey, man, we got this super tough. It's like a par like 77, it's 15,000 feet. We really want you to come play it. And you're like, no, I just left Portland and now I got to go play, Beaver State. Like, I don't care about playing a 15,000 foot course or something silly. So that makes perfect sense. Favorite hole out there, or hole that's underrated that you would consider fun that somebody else would overlook? Is there one Maple Hill? I see Casey White's out on the board. He's hollering about Maple Hill's Reds,
Casey.
but is there a hole out there where you just okay? Let me rephrase that. Sorry, scratch all that. A hole that is particularly fun to you that everyone does know, like that you look at it and you're like, I love playing this hole somewhere on the tour that you think is like, oh, this is so much fun.
Terry, this is like so many options I have to think about now.
I mean, like a hole 8 at Maple Hill. Let's just use that as an example. Is that a fun hole for you?
Actually, my favorite hole at Maple is hole 14, which is a more difficult hole 8, kind of.
Sure.
Every time I get to that tee pad, I'm guaranteed to lose a disc because I'm throwing half my bag. And half those discs are like super flippy, and I'm just trying to do something crazy. So, I mean, yeah, that whole on tour, Terry, I can't think that fast.
Jonesboro, have you been there? Right? No, you haven't been there yet. Yeah, Jonesboro, hole 5 or 6 there, hole 6. The water carry on that one to the island.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one. I like that.
I mean, you like water carries, right? The threat of OB, but okay. All right.
Yeah, I do like hard holes too. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not looking for like the easiest, just
aceable
give me
hole.
birdies. No, and in tournament play, 600-foot open bomber holes, like give me more of them because I'm gaining strokes on the field, and that's kind of what it's about during tournament play. But no, when I'm playing for fun, I want to take it a bit more easy on my body. I guess that's like the main reason I don't want to like go out to bomber courses when I'm not getting paid to do it.
So let's, you talked about obviously what's in store for December and then family after that, but in the months, we'll say after October wraps up into November and into December, are you just inundated with countless requests for things, and whether it's looking at a course or coming to a pro shop or putting on a clinic or whatever? Are people just bombarding you with opportunities, whether it's at the end of a year or into the next year? Is that crazy for you?
Yes.
Okay. What are some of the things? Like, so this is your platform because I'm asking it. So this isn't you complaining or anything like that, because I'm asking the question. What are some of the things that either mildly excite you or absolutely like you can't swipe and delete quick enough? Like, what are some of the types of things that either really interest you or absolutely don't interest you?
Well, let's start with the don't interest me, because I get that a lot, is, hey, I'm going to be in town next week. Do you have time to play around with me? And like someone that I obviously don't know, just a random stranger. I just never really fully understand if they think it's actually going to happen. Like, I should just show up to a random stranger and play a round of disc golf?
But I'll play you for $20.
That must be worse if someone wants to play me for money. But I get a lot of messages. People are reaching out, hey, I'm in town, or hey, can you come to my course? I would love to play with you. Or hey, we have this new course in Illinois. I would love to see you play it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll be right there. I'll be right there. See you tomorrow. But
can I buy my own plane ticket too?
Yeah, unfortunately, those messages often get left unread.
Okay.
Stuff I've lately been really excited about is new courses coming in. So if anything within like an hour and a half or an hour radius of my house, I will definitely be very interested in reading it. An example is in just north of Hartford, Connecticut, the Tower Ridge course, which is on a abandoned golf course, just got put in a couple months ago, and they said, hey, we just got the new baskets and we don't have tee pads yet, but we would love for you to come check it out. And I brought out my camera and did a vlog there, and even though it was totally not ready and very like rough and raw, it was really awesome to see like a new course get put in and maybe give like some tips on where you could maybe like shift some tee pads or move baskets, because it wasn't like too late because everything was like finally put in. Just stuff like that is really, really interesting to me right now. Local and new courses that maybe I can help with design ideas. I had another local guy reach out to me that's building on private property a little 9-hole course and 20 minutes from my house. And he just asked, hey, is there any chance you would walk that property with me and let me know if my ideas are right or how I could change things to make it better? And I actually answered and said yes. And like 2 days later, we met up at his property and walked this course. So stuff like that is definitely possible. And that the course design stuff is definitely exciting for me right now.
So the secret or the trick for everyone at home is move within a few hours of Simon, and then that's your best chance. Yeah, and have property. That's your best chance to get Simon to come hang out with you.
And hire me for free to design your course.
Wow, you drive a hard bargain. That's what's your favorite kind of, well, I guess I know the answer. Favorite kind of land to work with would be?
Man, my dream is that on Zillow or on I look on Google and Zillow like almost every day for abandoned or golf courses for sale. Unfortunately, like I want a 9-hole golf, like a dog track. I think you call bad golf courses dog tracks, right?
I've never heard that phrase, but we're not golfers. So okay.
Maybe it's a New England term. Anyway, I want like a terrible shaped golf course that is completely abandoned and no one would be interested in unless you're a disc golfer, really, because that really like fits so perfectly. So that's the dream: a 9-hole abandoned golf course to make a nice little 18-hole course. That would be the dream. And I look every day, and unfortunately, land in Massachusetts is so expensive. It is literally mind-blowing that you can go online and like a 5-acre swamp costs $1 million. You're like, what? How is this how is this possible? Like, like, how can it be for sale for $1 million? Like the crappiest piece of land that is mostly wetlands you can't even use, and it's $1 million. Like, how does that make any sense? I don't get it.
You know, you're gonna have to wait a year or so until prices get pushed down a little bit more.
Yeah, and then it'll be only 800.
890,000. Yeah.
And then you drive an hour north to Vermont, and then you get like a beautiful mountainside for $200,000.
Yeah, I mean, location. I think that's what they say. So, speaking of big dreams, speaking of multi-million dollars, let's talk Discmania contract just for a moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a segue, right? Where are you exactly within your Discmania contract right now? Just for the record.
Like in the millions or what?
Yes.
Yes. Tell us your finances. No, years.
I meant how many years in, how many years left, those types of details. We'll start there.
Does UC personally write out the checks for you? Out of his checkbook?
No, UC has actually nothing to do with my finances right now, which is kind of nice. But
Yeah.
I think 2018 I signed the 5-year deal. So 18, 19, 20, 21. So this must be my 3rd or 4th year of this contract, and it was a 5-year deal. Or maybe was it 2019? I don't remember, Terry.
That's how serious he takes his life. Yeah, that's how he talks. That's how serious.
Wow. I mean, don't show all your cards. Don't tell everybody you're Discmania for life. I mean, you got to get, they got to woo you back every end of season, every contract. Yeah.
That's not my style.
So obviously no major updates or changes in that front. We're continuing to see players change and evolve. Some contracts re-up, some contracts broken.
I know some real secret stuff.
Oh, I bet you do. I think I know some too.
I think we all know some.
Okay.
I know something you don't know for sure now. I got new news, but anyway.
Hold on, I'm gonna mute the mics.
No. So a couple years left, no big changes there. What does having that longevity, that security, or just that agreement in place, what does that do for you and your psyche?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's just when I was growing up and watching, I was a big soccer fan because I grew up 5-minute walk from the stadium, and soccer in Germany is obviously as big as football, basketball, and baseball combined in the States. It's just like it's just like a different. I don't know if you've heard about this, but soccer in Germany is just like it's life. It's weird, and I was not really that into it, but I was still kind of that into it. And every time like a really good player of my home soccer club would get bought out to a bigger club, like Munich is obviously one of the biggest clubs in Europe, and they bought a lot of the good players from my club that my club bought very cheap and made them into stars, and then Munich just bought them and they left for more money. And every time that happened, I was like, how can you have like so little loyalty that you have this club where everyone loves you and they made you from nothing to a superstar, and then this other freaking club offers you way more money and then you just leave? I hated that. I always hated that, and I was like, I would never want to be like that. So I guess that partially plays into the why I am the way I am. And also, there's this one thing that I don't know if UC actually said that to me or if someone said that to me about UC, is that if there's ever going to be a big thing in Europe like Adidas picking something up or Red Bull or Coke or whatever it could be, the big sponsor is going to go through UC, because UC is the man. He's the man that makes everything legit in Europe, and he is. A lot of people forget this, but he also, with Spin TV and with a lot of other things like disc golf commercials, disc golf ads, and disc golf magazines, like he was one of the first to make it look like super clean and professional, and he's really good at that kind of stuff. So I always thought, as long as I stick with UC and something big will happen, I'm going to be the first guy to know about it and his first pick. So that's another reason I'm sticking around. And also I love Discmania. I love everything about it.
Yeah, you're paid to say that. So
that's true.
And let me introduce you to the Sky God 3.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
4.
No,
4. Oh, sorry.
That's such an interesting statement.
Is it still true?
Yeah, I mean, UC like an international sports agent gatekeeper over there? I mean, does he wields that much power or authority or?
Well, I don't know exactly like the market share that Discmania has in Europe, but he owns Spin TV, he owns Discmania, he owns Disc Golf Park, and I mean Spin TV lately hasn't been doing anything really, but Disc Golf Park is huge. It's just starting in the US really, but they're getting new projects like on a daily basis right now. So I don't know. I don't know, Terry. You know, I don't know.
I mean, disc golf is changing so very fast, and even over in Europe, where we've seen like the European Tour pop up now, and they're going to be live streaming, and obviously with I think there's Prodigy Europe now, and there's just so many disc golf companies. It's just, I mean, a lot of that is thanks to UC. Clearly, I mean, you can trace a lot of that back to him. So I would say it's not the worst person to hitch your wagon to if you're going to hitch your wagon to somebody.
Well, it's not just UC; it's the entire team, and I'm so glad Eagle chose to stay last year when he was getting the big deals offered from left and right. I think he made the right choice, and I think Discmania is in one of the best positions in disc golf in the next 3 years.
Any major changes to the team? I have so many ways I want to go with this, but have all changes been, any additions and subtractions, have they all been made? Maybe that's the best way I'm trying to word this. For Team Discmania right now. Is there anything else still coming, or is anybody going to get the axe on December 31st that you just can't tell us about?
Dana.
I hate that it's such a touchy subject, and I'm not sure what's public knowledge and what isn't at this point, because I've just heard so many different things. And I mean, I'm friends with all of the other players as well, so I hear their story, and then I talk to UC about it, and then I don't know what I can say about it. I just don't want to say anything wrong, and then because I hate feeling bad, and like I hate causing any problems, so I'm just not going to say anything about that, because I don't think I know anything that's really. I don't think Discmania is going to change much in the next year. Maybe Gavin left. I know that. That's public.
What's that?
Gavin.
Gavin.
Yes,
That's
Gavin
public.
over to Dynamic.
But this is why we
today.
have you on, Simon, because you have loose lips.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
this
supposed
is-
to share secrets.
I have so many things I could say, and I really wish the world would work that way that you can just say anything. Like,
all
why
right.
do people care that much? I don't even get it.
I mean, we saw the big, and I'm going to throw that in quotes, blowback with the Matty-O signing when he moved from Prodigy over to West Side, and Prodigy.
Yeah, what was up with that? What the heck?
And Prodigy made the social media post. We talked about it last week where they thanked him for his time and then kind of dropped the West Side comment in there, and now the post is deleted and this and that. It's a sensitive subject because businesses are built around this stuff. There's always, I mean, you know it with the Sky God 5 or 4, wherever you're at now, Simon. It's always a big buildup to a big release and reveal, and there's the excitement, and
Or with the mystery boxes, even more buildup.
Yeah, I tried to get one, and I was unable to get one.
You were the only one. That's weird.
I was the only person not able to get one, and I did everything
Really?
right. No. I know. I tried on my phone, and I tried to go through a PayPal, which wasn't authenticated to my phone. It only took me like 6 minutes to to go through all the steps. I don't know why I didn't get one.
Yeah, it's so absurd, and I don't get it. I'm so glad I'm not in the position that takes like customer calls after a mystery box release.
Ooh, I would not want to be that.
That's
person.
rough. After every release, UC calls me and says, "We pissed off a lot of people."
Well, and the thought is, well, how come they just don't make
no?
Yeah, how come they just don't make more? I'll say this: it didn't appear as if there was a technology glitch like that I saw. Like the website held up. I know there was some weird, like for instance, I was in the middle of nowhere on mediocre internet on my phone. I was watching it because I thought, well, I want to get one because I want to give it away this year as a prize for Skip Ace. I was like, I'll hold on to it, and it'll be a really cool prize in like April. Like, hey, guess what I have, guys? And so I refreshed, and it said out of stock, and I refreshed again. And then it was in stock. I was like, holy crap, did they sell out in like under 30 seconds? And then I was able to kind of get one in my cart. But by the time I went through my phone and it had to text me an authentication code for PayPal, like I know people load up multiple browsers and have everything open. And I had very little faith I was going to get one from my cell phone. And so I was not one of the people that were disappointed. But it didn't feel like there was much of a technology glitch this year.
You should leave a review. I hear those are most successful.
I will give them a 3-star review. And because
that will raise
because the missing 2 stars is only because everybody says, well, why don't they just make more? And it's obviously a supply and demand thing, and it's an exclusivity thing as well. I mean, you keep them limited to keep people excited. I mean, yeah, not everyone.
We don't make more because we literally don't have room to put all those boxes.
Yeah.
So clearly a big deal, and clearly a huge release. Is it funny to you that mystery boxes are so successful, just in general? Not maybe even just Discmanias, but just as a concept?
It blows my mind. It blows my mind. I don't understand it. Eagle and I always go back and forth jokingly when like mystery box season is coming up, and we're like, here we go again. Mystery box season is upon us. We are so excited. Yeah, it's crazy, but it works. And I guess I can kind of see it, but because I'm so on the other side of it, I don't get it. But I guess if I was on the other side, maybe I would get it.
And part of that is Discmania usually has a new mold or model or something that goes into those mystery boxes. Like it's the MD1 this year.
Yeah, that disc is sick, by the way.
So,
yeah,
so you're not
sick.
helping it at all. That disc
So
is so
sick.
great that none of you will get for at least another few months.
No, I'm not.
And I'm paid to say
I'm getting
this.
paid for it. It's like literally my new favorite disc. It's my new favorite disc.
Of course it is.
That's great.
So the next mystery box comes out.
So I mean, there's that. Everybody wants. Everybody wants the new disc. You know, if it didn't have a new disc in it, it would still be popular, but probably not quite as popular. I don't know. So there's that. And mystery boxes, like Terry said, they are very popular with a lot of manufacturers or resellers that will put together, a misprint box or an exclusive, a tour series box or whatever the people are selling these days.
So when you're looking at the contracts and the conversations that are taking place about contracts, do you, and I know you're about loyalty, and everybody loves that, and Discmania is blessed to have you and to have the mentality I believe that you do have for it. Now, you look at contracts though, they're only getting more heavy and more powerful and clearly more incentivizing to our players. What do you think of that shift? Did you miss out on what's happening today?
It's crazy. It really is crazy, and it's such a weird market right now, and it's so hard as a disc golfer to know your own worth. And I guess the way you determine worth is by seeing how much someone would pay for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone would pay this, that's how much you're worth. And it's so weird how the numbers have changed in the last 2 years. Like, literally 2 years. The numbers have like 10x'd about for a lot of players. And it's moving too fast. I was actually on the phone with Yussi yesterday talking about this, and
he kept trying to change the subject. It was very awkward.
He's like, everybody else is way overpaid. I don't know what you're talking about, Simon.
I was like, where is my $10 million contract?
Yeah. I mean, and I asked that in all seriousness. Did with either the structure of your contract, or is there a conversation that can relook at some of the numbers? Because I'm sure whatever you agreed to 2 years ago,
or 3 or 4, whatever,
or 3 or 4, whenever you signed it, whatever you agreed to is not today's going rate for what you're worth. That's unless they just way overpaid you at the time. I'm guessing your contract doesn't hold up to other people's current contracts.
Yeah, it's just there's a problem that going around because between the pro players, we all kind of know what everyone makes, because one person tells one person, and then it tells the next person, and then one person tells the group, and then the group tells everyone knows at some point. And even the rumors, everyone knows at some point, like way faster than you even realize. Everyone knows everything. So, and when like I don't want to name examples now because then I feel like I'm throwing them under the bus as well, but
well, are you
like
scared?
Go ahead.
I'm going to say like some smaller player hears about a new contract that was just signed by someone that has a lower rating than them and someone that isn't finishing as well in the recent tournaments as them, then they obviously think, well, I'm also worth at least that or more. And then they go to the next company with this crazy proposal of, I don't know, 6-figure deals that they want to sign. And it's like, it's madness. I don't know in the next couple of years what's going to happen, if it's just going to keep, because right now it's going like this, and it can't just keep going like this. But I'm super excited for when the year switches over and all the announcements are going to come out. It's going to be real entertaining.
Are you at all worried that you may be, I don't say missing the boat? Because when your contract is over in 1 or 2 years or 5, I don't know, Simon.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I know. That's the values may not be where they're at right now. We could see a quote unquote a market crash or
a plateaus at least.
Either one, a plateau. I mean, if it plateaus, he's still going to be making more. But if it quote unquote crashes, and we see that in the next 2 years, people who are signing for 6 figures, if you look back on it and go, well, maybe that really wasn't the right move, and we're going to go back to 5 figures. And are you going to be upset that you missed that mark because you signed a long-term agreement, or is that just going to be? I can't see you getting really upset about much in life, but
I
play pretend.
Get pissed. I get pissed out there.
Yeah.
When I stab my toe, I get so angry. But no, I know where you're going. And am I afraid to be missing out? I would say deep down inside, probably yes. But it's layered with so many layers of not really that I guess not really.
Okay.
I mean, if you're happy and you feel like you're making a decent amount of money right now and there's no complaints, I can understand that. But as you know,
Another problem I have is that money was, no matter how much or how little money I had in life, it was always the least of my worries. For some reason, I don't know where I got that gene from. Like my family is totally not like that. Um, I never grew up around money. We barely had enough money to go to the next disc golf tournament ever. And when I first went on tour, I had literally $1,000, and I literally had to ask one of the Disney employees for $60 one time so I could buy myself lunch the next day because I was out of money. So, but I feel like that's when I was my happiest, and I don't know. I just, now that I'm having a kid, it's getting obviously much more serious, and I'm going to have to worry about money more. So maybe I'm going to be a different man next year, and I'll be more serious about the contract stuff and planning the next 10, 20 years ahead to see how I can be financially stable and when I'm 50. But as of right now, it's hard to say that I'm too worried about it.
it's good.
So here's maybe a good way to recap this conversation, or put a pin in it, I should say. 3 years ago, all the way back in the end of 2018, by your best guess, how many disc golfers were making six figures? And this is a guess, or maybe you could literally think about it for a minute and count it. But your best guess, how many disc golfers were making six figures 3 years ago? End of 2018.
5, maybe 4.
Okay, that 5 would have been
Five?
the number I would have
I
thrown
was gonna say
out.
5 or 6 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
End of 2021, going into 2022, how many disc golfers do you believe are making six figures or will be next year?
It must be almost 20. Probably around 15 to 20.
Okay. And then plenty with that may have some great options or ideas or opportunities that could even get them there. They may have to, it may not be guaranteed, or they have to hustle for it a little bit more, but there's probably another 10 or 15 at least that could get there if they make some good moves. Or
especially with the way the
right.
tour is increasing their payouts every year, the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Yeah, I don't know. That's actually something funny, that tour, like the payouts in tournaments,
Don't
never
matter as
even
much.
enter my mind.
Yeah.
It never even enters my mind when I think about the money that I make.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of just makes me like break even sometimes on my tournament travels.
That might say a little bit about your
Doesn't really
playing
count
lately,
as
but
Hey, I've been playing great.
We're not saying you haven't, but 13th versus second, there is now a huge difference week in and
Does
week
anyone
out.
ever bring that up, actually, how different it is now versus 5 years ago? How hard it is to be a top 10 player right now?
yeah, I mean, I think we all know that there's a lot of compression up at the top of the leaderboards that there wasn't 5 to 7 years ago. That there's so much more parity that in both divisions, MPO and FPO, that it's a lot harder to win. You know, you can't have.
I truly believe I'm a better player now than I was 5 years ago. But on paper, it just doesn't match up at all.
I mean, there are a lot of. I mean, you can blame Eagle and Kyle Klein. Kick them off the team, Simon.
I blame them about every day.
All right, good.
Directly, I message them and say, "Stop!
It's your fault. Please stop playing so well."
No, I play rounds like." I don't know if I have to go into this now, but real quick, I used to play rounds. They were mediocre, and I was like kind of happy. I thought solid, and I would be second place or top 5 like every freaking weekend. And now I play a round, think I feel great, and then I have like 3 holes to play, and I go to UDisc, and I have to scroll for like 5 minutes to find my name in like 50th place. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, how? How is it possible? It has changed so much that it's like it's a different game out there. It's a total different game out there. And anyone who's consistently in the top 10 is a total freak, which will be me next year, by the way.
Uh-oh. All right, let's talk about next year. What how are you going to maintain the focus and the schedule, the regimen, the routine? How are you going to do all of that and yet finish consistently better? What's the plan? Are things going to change? Is it mental? Is it physical? What are we looking at for Simon in 2022?
Got to identify my weaknesses, which is number one, the putting green as of this year and last year, and number two, mental game. I way too quick lose interest and lose fun. And once I lose interest and I lose fun, I start doing really stupid things and basically throwing my round away, which I'm 29 now, guys. 29. I'm almost 30. So if you're almost 30 years old, it's about time to grow up and not make dumb decisions and stupid mistakes anymore that you made when you were 16. So
do you have to,
I really have to work.
I mean, do you honestly, do you have to? If you know that you're having a mediocre or a bad round, the way the Disc Golf Pro Tour works right now is that you can't have a mediocre round and still win. You can't.
No, you can't.
And so does it hurt you to do that? Is it better for you mentally that you can just kind of blow that off? Clearly the tournament.
That is a great question, because that's a really fine line between being mentally happy. It's so weird. Every person is so different, and what makes me happy and what makes Eagle happy or Paul happy is like so different things. And when I play, I often get thrown on the featured card for round one, for example, and I play with Ricky or with Paul round one, and they're playing like completely mediocre, and I'm like, man, like these guys aren't that good. Like I can totally keep up with this. And maybe they don't shoot a great round one, but somehow they still end up on top all the time without making it look that good. I guess that's this X factor kind of. And it is what Johnny, what you said, it is such a fine line to know what is better for you. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is obviously physical health and mental health. That goes beyond anything. And it is a tough question to answer for yourself. If while you're in a round, what mental health, what it'll do to you, what a disc golf round can do to you mentally, or to me, and probably to all the pro disc golfers and maybe even some casual disc golfers. It's brutal. Like my best example would be the European Championships this year in Czech Republic. When I flew over there, I had 2 days to warm up, and it was at the Konopice course where I've won before, or the favorite course in the world, because it's just so beautiful. And for me, it's like laid out for me to just have fun. And without even playing my best disc golf, I should still compete for the win every time, because I have such an advantage there. Just distance-wise, and accuracy is not too important because there's no OB everywhere. And I was playing those rounds, and it wasn't going my way, and I wasn't making my putts, and I wasn't leading. I wasn't winning the tournament that I was like so expected to win, and I felt so much pressure. And I like gave up during the rounds. And looking back at it, I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do, because for one, it's my freaking job to try my best. And I mean, not just for myself, but for the fans and for my sponsors. But I was like, if I keep trying now and fail, like I literally want to hurt myself. Like, okay, that sounds a bit extreme, but I want to never play this stupid game again. And then it's much easier to just give up and get like the, oh, I don't really care attitude, and just try to have fun with it. And it's, I can't even answer that question for myself. I don't know what's better. If you pull through it, I think Paul's very good at that. When it's not going his way, to just stick with it. I'm very, very bad at that.
We've all been tournament golfers here. I mean, to much different levels. But I mean, yeah, we've all probably been in the same position where you get down during a round and you think, well, I'm just going to kind of fluff off and have fun, and I'm going to throw some crazy shots. and you're having fun in the moment. But then when you walk off the course and you look at your score and you think, oh my God, that hurts. Like whether it's a rating that you don't love, if you suddenly shoot a 910 rated round and you're a 950 golfer, or whether you shoot a 970 and you're a 1020 rated golfer. Like there's the in the moment fun, and then there's the looking back at it where you question your decision, because in the moment it makes you feel better, but I've had those sick feelings in my stomach when you walk back to your car and you look at the scores and you're right, and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll to find your name.
Let's for a moment, you talk about our top most elite players, and I want to get your take, because clearly you're striving to be right there weekly with them. Give us your quick take on Ricky, Paul, Calvin, Chris, Eagle. I mean, those are your top five. When I think about who is at the top of the top, obviously we talked about 1050 boys and whatever else we throw in there. But when you're looking at those top five players, what is it that you're like, hey, they have it? And is it different for all of them?
Well, the one is the mental side to it. It's this stepping up to any shot and just being fully confident. That's really the key. And that's really, if there's any, I don't even want to call it like a trick to being so good at something. It's just confidence and deep down inside knowing how good you are and that you can pull off the next shot. That is by far the most important thing in probably any sport, in single sports more than in team sports. But when you're out there and you lose confidence, and except like almost all of us have that, except for like the top 5-6 guys you just named, for Paul to lose confidence is almost impossible. For Eagle and Ricky and Calvin to lose confidence, I don't know. I just don't see it happen. I don't see it happen. And for other players, you can literally watch them lose confidence and just see it fall apart. And if you know all these things that go on in your brain and in your body while it's actively happening during a tournament round, and you'd like start analyzing that, it gets real funky in your brain. You like don't know what to think anymore, and you don't know what's going on. You don't even know if being aware of that is the right thing, or if you should just let things happen. Because I feel like one of my big problems is that I'm too aware sometimes of what's going on, that I'm overthinking things, and that's obviously the worst thing you can do. Because, you just got to be in the moment, and that's what those guys, the Ricky, Pauls, and Eagles, have this confidence that is just so deep that it's like hardly shaken. And if you can step up to all shots with that confidence, it just makes it so much easier.
Is it fair to say, and I say this as a longtime fan and media guy, is it fair to say, though, Ricky and Paul's sheer domination is just long gone? It's done. They're going to continue to be good. They're going to continue to be contenders and win, but their days of dominating, outright dominating, are done. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think it's very evident that that's done. I mean, this last season was, I missed half of the first. I missed the half. Wait,
first half of the season.
I missed first half of the season last year, and it was like the funnest season to watch ever, because it was different names all the time. And actually, Ricky and Paul at the beginning of the season didn't really win any tournaments. Both didn't win any tournaments. So no, it's super exciting. I think it's great for the sport, and pretty much any tournament coming up, you just don't know. You just don't know who's going to do it. Who's going to have the best week?
And yet, it wouldn't shock anybody to watch Ricky and Paul run the first 6 events. If it went Ricky, Ricky, Paul, Ricky, Paul, and everyone would be like,
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's understandable. So I don't know if
No, that would be a total surprise if that would happen.
Maybe a surprise, but you
it's
wouldn't be like,
unlikely.
well, that's insane.
It's unlikely with today, but I wouldn't call it shocking because we know that there. I mean, Paul took a major and
tied for a major,
as we know, that's second place. And then and Ricky won
like 7 events in a row.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it wouldn't shock me. I don't think they're going to dominate as we've seen in the past, but nothing at this point in disc golf, nothing will surprise me almost. Short of James Conrad throwing in a 242-foot shot, nothing surprises me anymore.
All right, Simon, we've got a couple last questions then for you. One would be, this kind of dovetails on what we were just talking about. If I said to you, Simon, I can grant you one win in 2022, that is not a major, but I can officially grant you one
genie.
and only one win. And I can guarantee it. I can hand it to you.
So easy choice.
I know.
And that is?
Maple Hill.
Okay. All right. I assume that. Then the follow-up and one of our final questions would be, do you, and I know you have a lot on your plate, and I know, we're going to see how things unfold, of course, but do you envision playing events and at any point and having the whole family there? Do you envision just flying in and out, or by the end of the year, do you see this, I'm not going full Emerson Keith question
Family
on you.
tour time.
Yeah, but is that a possibility?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Terry, I don't know how babies work. I don't know when they can start flying. I don't know when they can start doing road trips.
Okay.
But
okay.
They can.
I think it's
once they're
you'll
out
see him. You'll see my son in Vermont and Maple Hill probably.
Okay.
But just so you know, once they're out of the womb, they're free to do whatever you want. Like you can bring them anywhere you want. They can.
You tell him what to do.
That's right. You are in charge.
At least for a few years.
You are the human in charge now, Simon. Like you have to be the person that lays down the law.
Wait, if you're in charge
imagine
of
that
your
I'm in
son,
charge
who's
of
in
you?
charge of you?
You see.
Natalia.
We know.
Okay.
Yeah, Natalia. Yeah. I mean, it's. I can't wait. I can't wait for the next 3 to 4 years to keep checking in with you, Simon.
I'm scared.
As a child will blow your mind.
Do you think I should put my child in my YouTube videos or no?
I think it. I mean, as an infant, very, very soon, I don't think it hurts anything. Honestly, and we're not big enough yet where I think that hiding children is a real safety precaution as opposed to some huge celebrities and rich, wealthy people.
I think he's punching down on you right now, Simon, saying you're not big enough.
I'm punching down on the disc golf community, but that's a personal decision. Honestly, I mean, it's
Thank God, by the way. How miserable would we all be if we were rich and famous?
God,
is it any?
I don't want to
different
find out.
Then I mean, will
I
you
don't
post?
either, really,
will
honestly.
you or Natalia post pictures of your child on Facebook? Will it post pictures on Instagram? Like, oh, look at my cute kid dressed up in a Halloween costume. Like it's a Wizard of Oz or something. I don't know. Those are things that it's every family's decision. So if you're going to do that, is there any reason not to have him in your vlogs? Or, I mean, it's that's.
I'm good
that's
with
a
it,
personal
but
decision.
I'm.
Then again, Terry's been training 2 media moguls for the last 10 years. So you've met his daughters, so you know.
Yeah,
his daughters are amazing.
I know.
Thank you. All right, pal. Well, we're going to cut you loose. We know it's already an extra hour later over there on the East Coast, and I know
He's got editing to do.
you have editing to do. You have an insane month ahead of you, and I know I speak for the entire disc golf community that we absolutely love everything that you continue to do and all the fun and hilarious ways that you continue to entertain all of us. And we wish you and Natalia and your son and everybody the best possible health, and looking forward to an incredible.
Do you have a name picked out?
We do.
Have you shared it with anybody yet, or are you keeping it private?
Ooh. Should we do it as Smashbox?
Yes.
Exclusive.
Exclusive?
Exclusive.
I would love it. I would love it. Is
I wonder if she's awake.
Is she okay with this?
Yeah, she is.
I don't know if she's okay with it. We've been telling friends and stuff, so that means we're okay with it, right?
We're all friends
We're
here.
all friends.
All right, so we're going with, it's a pretty badass name. We're going with Emmett Lizotte.
Emmett.
All right.
Love it.
That's
Emmett.
awesome.
Emmett.
Emmett is, for me, important was that in the German language, it's pronounced the same way than in English. So in German, it would be Emmett, and in English, it would be Emmett. So it sounds the exact same. I didn't want that, like, my German friends can't pronounce his name. That would be, like, super weird. It was like some American name where Germans just can't pronounce it.
What's an American name that a German can't pronounce very well?
Pretty much every single name.
Okay, so Emmett.
Like
okay.
Terry. Terry, for example. Germans can't say the r.
Oh.
No. Have you never heard people speak with a German accent? It's terrible.
I'll say
Anyway,
this.
Emmett,
Nope.
I don't know. I think of the crazy professor from Back to the Future, Emmett Brown, and he's the coolest. So that's why. That's not why we went with him. Actually, Natalia brought up this name, and she doesn't even know anyone that's named Emmett except some character in Twilight. So
and
yeah,
you were like,
it.
I like Logan Paul Macbeth Lizotte. Oh, jeez.
Wait, what name did I want? Super Crush Lizotte or something? No, I wanted. Wait, we actually had a name. It was. Oh, what was it? It was something Ace. Sunny. Yeah, it was Sunny Ace Lizotte. That was a real contender for a while. We had Sunny Ace Lizotte.
It was a contender for you. My guess is that she was like, sure, Simon.
She did like the name Sunny. She did like the name Sunny. And I thought a middle name is not that important, and Ace is kind of like a cool sounding thing, and it's kind of like my thing. So, and then it would be Sunny Ace, which is like my favorite thing to do, is go out in the sun and get aces.
All right.
There's nothing to say you still can't call him Sunny.
Emmett Ace Lizotte? EAL? Emmett Ace.
No, we don't know a middle name yet. I don't know if we need a middle name.
Okay. And so Emmett has, you said, is partly pronunciation, but there's no Emmets in the family. There's no other tie to an Emmett on your side.
No, she brought it up one day, and I said, yeah, that's not bad. And ever since, she's been obsessed with it, and there's nothing that I could do to change it. And I like it now, too.
All right. That sounds good to me.
Well, thank you for the exclusive.
All right, buddy. Well, again, we love you. We appreciate you. I know you get a lot of crazy DMs and requests, but the fact that you took mine today and said you join us on the show tonight, the entire world and all of us Smashies love and appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Hey, it's been a while, guys. So thanks for having me back on episode 379.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know those Nick and Matt guys are trying to like woo you over, and you like live close to them, but we keep it OG here, buddy.
It's easy and convenient.
Yeah, sure. All right, Simon, we love you again. Best of luck, and if there's anything we can do to help you out ever, don't hesitate to reach out. You know that, buddy. All right, have a good night.
Good night.
All right, guys, take it easy. Thank you.
Peace. Simon Lizotte.
What a character.
Yeah, so good to catch up. As he said, it has been a while, so it was great, and he was very gung-ho about it, and then he realized just how late the night got started, so we very much appreciate him willing to join us.
Funny, because every time we've ever hung out in person, he's always seems like he's more of a night owl.
Well, times are changing, though.
I understand. I mean, you're when you're at home and it's the off season, and I've only usually got to hang out with him during the season or right around the edge of it, so... yeah, I'm glad he could join us.
Yeah, what a fun time, and of course we wish him the best. And I honestly get a little hesitant just thinking about the concept of Vlogmas or 24 straight vlogs, or whatever you want to call it, whether it's Vlogmas or just a daily vlog, and to know what goes into those by any creator. I mean, even bad daily vlogs put together by people still require a ton of effort and a ton of work, and it's such a dedication, And when you're taking no days off and you're literally doing it through the weekends and every other day
in December, which is a holiday.
Yeah,
it's just
a lot of things going on, and so again, we wish him the best of luck. And as he said, we do not expect to see one from Eagle McMahon. And I know we didn't dip into it too far, but it essentially sounds like Eagle has not necessarily been out throwing or wildly active. I'm sure he's doing some kind of training, strength, conditioning, things of that nature. And I know it's the off season, but I'm guessing that it sounds as if his injury has maybe continued to linger just a little bit. So hopefully we'll see
nothing
him.
but the best for him. Hopefully he can rest up and heal up and just kind of make it hopefully back by the beginning of the season.
Yeah, certainly. Tom's looking for a shout out to Teresa Brown.
She's got a tummy ache.
Sorry to hear that. My daughter had one today, or so she said, and then wanted to stay home from school. Yes, I thought that was a little sus, as the kids would say. All right.
I think it depends which daughter it is, and I think I know which one it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And by the way, Kenzie, if you're watching right now, go to bed. All right.
School tomorrow.
Yeah, you're not skipping another day tomorrow. All right. Anything in the news on the old PDGA site or Alta World? I know there were some conversations about some signings, re-signings. There's things that we know of that unfortunately can't be fully discussed, just as Simon somewhat alluded to a little bit earlier. There's some secrets and things going on.
Things are starting to bubble up.
All right, here's what I can share.
Words are spreading.
They are. Brad Schick has re-signed with Discraft for 2 more years. It says, I don't know a lot of the details other than that Discraft is giving him more support than ever. As he had taken down the U.S. Masters title earlier this year. So congratulations, Brad Schick. For some of you youngsters out there, Brad Schick, without me looking, I'm going to go ahead and take a guess, has been sponsored by Discraft for probably...
Ever.
I was going to say 20 years, probably closer
Something
to
like that.
15 at least. Maybe it's been as many as 20, maybe even more. But Brad Schick re-signs with Discraft, so congratulations. Eli Bowman tells me that he's remaining on the Discraft underground team. So when I need to know what's going on out there, sometimes our players just reach right out to me, and then I'm happy to share any news or announcements. He said he realizes that it's going to get everyone in a tizzy that Eli remains, one of the superstars.
I was sweating
of
that
the
one
underground
out.
team, and you were like, "Gosh, where is he going? Is he staying? What's he doing?" And now we know.
Shocked.
I mean, that contract just a little too thick to pass up when you're Eli on the Discraft underground team. So, congratulations to him.
Some of the things that we've seen, and we talked about it last week, but I don't recall offhand, was Matt Bell. Was that announced last week, or was at the end?
I believe was announced last week, and unfortunately, I don't know that we've seen any. It's funny. I feel like it's coming out as news like today.
But it was announced like
a week ago.
At least a week ago. Yeah, so Matt Bell...
Yeah, actually, Prodigy announced it, that Matt Bell was leaving.
Ouch. It was
Sorry,
leaving
I had
DGA.
to. I had to.
Good pull. Yeah, so Matt Bell is parting ways with DGA. It's unsure where he's going yet. A lot of people are saying a lot of different rumors, and I honestly don't know where it is. So Greg Barsby has re-signed with Innova for 3 more years, which to me, at this point,
You feel unsurprised?
I feel unsurprised that Greg is re-signing. What I was getting at though is the number of years. It feels like contracts don't really. I think we discussed this last week, that contracts, because Matt Bell had signed a year. He was 2 years into his 3-year agreement, and he's leaving. Eric Oakley had a year left on his agreement, and he left. It feels like these are. When someone says that they're signing for a 3-year agreement, it feels like it's 3 1-year optional agreements. Is like, oh, we both still love each other. Let's stay together another year. It's a lot like my marriage. Just kidding.
Except for she's looking for options.
Oh yeah,
actively.
I mean constantly, but I just don't know it. It's really funny. No. So it feels these year agreements. I would love to know if I feel like they should say guaranteed, like for a guaranteed 3-year contract or a guaranteed 2-year contract or whatever that number is, because man, is it tough to really have like the whole Ultra World player tracker is complete. I mean, it's nice. It's as a reference. It's worthless.
What? No.
Worthless.
No, it's not.
It's worthless. I'm sorry. Because when
because they keep track of shit that we're not keeping track of. So
I understand,
it's very useful for that reason.
You might as well. What I would like then is just a list of every player and where they're signed and for how long, because the year-by-year one is worthless. Because at any given point, if a player can just cut out of a contract or a sponsor and a player can agree just to quit, then what's the point of keeping track? What's the point of keeping track even? Like, cool, Simon Lizotte signed for 5 years.
There's an implied
bull
loyalty and or agreement that is multi-year. I mean, you could say that about literally every contract, though, couldn't you?
No, most contracts are agreement. You could have no trade clauses, but in sports, and for instance, this year we saw Aaron Rodgers was unhappy with the Packers.
And wasn't he under contract?
And he is under contract.
Okay.
And he was able to renegotiate a contract. But ultimately, he was not the decider of his fate. The Packers were. And that's not the way it feels with disc golf. It really feels like players, and whether it's good or bad, that players have
Yeah, but who's to say it's the players exclusively?
It's not always. I mean, if a manufacturer is unhappy with a player, but it feels like, from what I've heard over the last few years, when a player leaves or in the middle of a contract, it tends to be that it was a player's decision, that they either wanted more for what, an agreement. Like, Simon's a great example. He's just kind of like, I don't know when my agreement's over. I get what I get. Like, that feels like what a contract would be, whether he was happy or unhappy with it. Could he leave? Sure, he could probably leverage himself and leave Discraft or Discmania, wherever he is. One of the disc manufacturers.
Oh, don't let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't feel like these contracts are really solidified in a lot of instances. And I wonder if we're going to see that change in the future. If manufacturers and players are going to agree to say
that things are ironclad.
These are ironclad unless both
parties agree to absolve, which I think might be happening.
I don't doubt that it is, but man.
You're saying you want more teeth in the contract because you want it, and you don't care what the company and the player say.
No, I think it's important.
That's what it feels like you're saying.
I think it's important. I just don't feel like you have much of a solid contract if the people can just part ways. I don't know, but we'll see. We got lots of fun yet this season.
Yes. Well, look for more big things. Yes, there are lots of rumors.
Can we sponsor Emmett Lizotte first? Can we be his first sponsor?
Yeah, probably.
All right. Let's just send him like a little bag of minis.
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
All right.
Yeah, as Tim says, let's let the speculation on who is going to sign Emmett. Well, it will be interesting, of course, to see, as it is with any disc golf kids, whether they're yours, mine, or Avery Jenkins, or anyone's for that matter, as to what that next generation, and maybe largely you think to someone like a Ken Climo, who's obviously the greatest of all time, whose son never really got into any serious professional disc golf ventures whatsoever. And I mean, obviously that can happen literally in every profession, and we should anticipate just that. But is it that much more interesting when you're one of the superstars? I mean, if your kids don't play, the world isn't going to stop, revolving.
I don't think it.
But when you have, I'll say, well, obviously like a Ken Climo or a Paul and Hannah. I'm not saying they're pregnant. But I'm just making that up. But if Paul and Hannah's kids don't play, or kids,
I don't think.
I don't know. It's
no. I mean, we see that with every sport.
Of course, yeah.
For every kid that you see who has a dad in like the NFL or something, there's 100,000 who don't.
Sure. But does it feel like disc golf has a lower barrier to entry than, say, the NFL?
It does. Right now, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Is there I'm trying to think, is there any kid whose dad was a significant player in disc golf that's playing right now?
AJ Risley, we just had him last week.
Allen, I wouldn't necessarily call like a big I don't say a superstar, but he's big locally.
He was in my mind.
That's great.
Still is.
That's great. I mean, we've seen fathers and sons play, but
the Jenkins family.
Okay,
Sharon, Leroy.
Sharon and Leroy. Okay,
obviously
100% give you that one. You could almost say Rebecca Cox. Her father,
her dad,
was
super good.
Continue.
I think he's like 995 probably.
I
want to Google it. I know. I'm just saying. I want to Google.
So.
And somebody take a guess before I announce it. What is and I think this is goes along with exactly what we're saying, and it's a little bit of fun. What do you guys think is Rebecca Cox's dad's rating?
I'm gonna go 989.
I'm going to go higher. I'm going to say, I think he's been as high as, I don't know if he's ever gotten 1,000. Maybe he has. And I believe it or not, I don't analyze his statistics, but I'm going to guess he's 992.
Tim Courts is saying an even 1,000.
His PDGA number, I'm going to dox him, is 6582.
Oh, gee.
He is 996 as of right now. So that is super impressive, and I'd be willing to guess if you're not from the Cincinnati area or that general vicinity, you may not know just how good Rebecca's dad is. But obviously, super solid player, still rated 996. That's awesome.
No, Pat McMahon doesn't count. He was never a disc golfer. I mean, he's known in the disc golf community, but he's not known as like a disc golfer. So, and maybe our sport's just too young. You know, there were so few big named players 25 years ago, or 20, it have to be about 20 years ago, I would say, that we have not seen their kids really excel yet. Not even really so much even in the junior department or anything like that. Most of the junior winners,
I mean, Nate Sexton's dad plays, but wasn't necessarily a national superstar.
Exactly.
But definitely had played.
And we didn't have a lot of national superstars 20 or 25 years ago. There was literally a handful of them that I think everybody kind of knew. So.
All right. Well, here to conclude the regular portion of the show, I want to quickly touch on just the amazing time and so many great people and the fun we had this last weekend. As many of you know, if you pay attention here on the show, I'm now down to running about 2 tournaments a year, that being the Skyline Classic and then also the Cold Turkey. Cold Turkey, believe it or not, in its 16th year. And these two events are usually held essentially in the same area at the same course, about an hour south of where I live or where Johnny and I are at, down in the Burlington, Silver Lake area in southern Wisconsin, just barely north of the Illinois border. So I want to quickly shout out, we had him on as the champion last year, and in almost unprecedented fashion, he came back and won again. He protected his title, defended it. It was, and I know that's like, who cares? No big deal. That happens all the time. This course, for some reason, just doesn't see repeat champions often. So Christopher Meyer, we had him on here last year right after his win. Congratulations to him. He took down David Heasley and Dan Schlitter and Nick Robinson, and then Dustin Skorpinski. So a couple shout-outs in there. Fred Vroman won the Masters. Tom Hausman won the Pro Grandmasters. Big smashy and superstar, super great guy, Adam Schleiss took down the Advanced Division. I love seeing Adam in his 33,000 PDGA number, 33,060.
Still winning advanced?
No, just incredible, because he stepped away from the game for a decade and now has just recently kind of come back. He's a lawyer. I think he's married another lawyer. Just recently got married. And
sounds like he needs the cash.
Yeah, so he came back for all that sweet advanced action.
Flip that plastic, baby.
Michelle Sandquist took down advanced women. Kevin Buckley, another good buddy. William Borsick and Tom McManus, PDGA 1276. And one of our smashies, a couple of our smashies, Sam Martinson, Ryan Pilcher, Tom McManus, all incredible people. Nick, Juliana, all of them also helping this weekend, along with the guys from Pastry Dies. So that's what you saw on the pro side. And then the likes of Juliana took down on the AM side on Sunday. So congrats. 2 other cool stories that came from this weekend. One gentleman played in the Flex Start that I also ran. First ever PDGA tournament, which I think I had a number of, by the way. But
That's
first
awesome.
ever PDGA event, it was the flex start. And on the 8th hole, William Tasco gets an ace. First ever tournament. He's only been playing, I think, since last year. The course on the flex side was relatively short, relatively easy. Doesn't matter.
Simon would love it.
I don't care how short it is. An ace is an ace. And so he got an ace, which was awesome. So what a welcome to the PDGA and sanctioned play.
This is easy. Gosh,
Yeah,
I
I
show
know.
up.
I should just do this all the time. And then also a quick shout out. Scott Carlson was the only ace on Saturday, and he since he took the ace pool, he said he wanted to donate half of that to St. Jude, who would have gotten it all had there been no ace. So that was a really kind gesture over in the Masters division, and so thank you to Scott. I wanted to get the shout out in there. I'm always torn every year. I love people getting aces and it going in the ace pool, but I also kind of like people not getting aces because then I usually take that money and we donate to St. Jude. So I'm kind of hoping you don't get an ace because I'd rather see the money go there.
I see him on the board, and I figured I'd just give him a quick shout out. Schwebby announced that he had his 32nd, 33rd win, I believe it was.
Yeah, of the year.
Of the year.
Of the year.
Yeah, no kidding.
Got to clarify that.
I suppose not of the month. Of the year, which he believes is a PDGA record. So.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Is there... Do we need to, and sorry, Schwebby, about saying this, do we need to qualify that it's a Masters record as opposed to an Open?
Funny you say that. Someone reached out to us via Facebook sometime in the last week or two, and it had gone undetected by you and I. And they reached out saying, hey, there is a person who could potentially get those 300 or 400 wins. Because we were talking about, will somebody ever eclipse what we're seeing in Elaine or by someone like Schwebby? And then their example, which I do want to reference here in a moment, as soon as the Facebooks catch up with me, they laid it out really well, and it's great to talk about. Rob, thank you, had said if a player progressed and played a lot of tournaments and stuck completely to the ratings guide for tournament division entries, it can be done. For instance, one player that just started playing in the COVID stayed in the rec division until he couldn't anymore, and he's racked up 37 wins this year.
Wow, 37 rec wins?
Now, those have to include some flex starts. I didn't go as far as digging into if those were any league night wins too that maybe you're seeing. Maybe not. But obviously that's got to include some flex starts and other things. He said if he moved into the intermediate division next year, he could get quite a few there and so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Now, my response essentially to that was, I'm not negating that those are wins. They clearly are. But as you're just saying, when we talk about an Elaine and we talk about a Schwebby or a Climo or a Mosier, a Rico, Steve Brinster, those are pro wins. Those are some professional division wins, not advanced. Or, to be fair, there was an intermediate back when Elaine King started playing disc golf. There was no division. You were AM or you were pro, and if you finished in the top couple of spots in AM, the next weekend you were essentially kicked into pro, whether you liked it or not. So, to me, the distinction, yes, is pro caliber, is pro wins. Now, we all know, and
can you slice and dice that even more?
You can slice it, because you could say, I will guarantee you a couple of Elaine's wins were probably uncontested. The numbers would tell me that. She at one point played in an event some weekend, no pro masters, no pro grandmasters, no women, no FPO, no other women showed up, and she played in the division and she won. That's not her fault. Could we get? Yeah, could. It's still a win. Clearly, it doesn't carry the weight. I can all but guarantee Schwebby has had 0 non-contested wins in the pro divisions.
Sure, but has he had any wins where he only played a three-man division, a four-person?
Quite possibly.
Like, it just, you can obviously slice and dice. We're not by any means deflating or playing down Schwebby's amazing accomplishments, because he's
quite the opposite.
Yeah.
But that's
there's
a great question to be had. And Dion, we see you out there with Statmando. He says we'll validate the claim for Schwebby. It would be maybe you run some stats, and I don't know who makes these numbers up, but how many wins are what's the magic number?
There is
four.
none. There is
four or more participants.
I would
10 or more. I mean,
would you say? Let's just play pretend. Would you say 3 participants because that's what you need to make a division?
In theory,
according to the PDGA, I mean,
yeah.
would that be a qualifier? And I don't know the right answer because no matter what you do, you can slice and dice this because a lot of people could say, I don't consider Masters wins a win. I only want to think about open wins.
Open,
so
sure.
Are you open MP or open FP? Or is there some people that are like, no, the advanced field is, look at the caliber of players in the advanced field. Those are almost 1,000 rated players in some of them. Those should count as well. Just should an amateur major count towards my win count? Because that's the best amateurs in the world. That's hardly any different than a pro master field a lot of times.
Yeah.
So again, I am not, by no means have a definitive answer on this. All I'm saying is that there are perspectives that anybody could take for a lot of different things here. And I think all of them are valid to some point.
Yeah. And for me, when I think about I will likely in 20 years still not be talking about the amateur that racked up 409 wins, whoever they are, if they go that route, if someone goes that route. I still will not be listing them as one of the greats. It just won't happen. You can say they have 409 wins. I'm not taking away their wins. I will not be listing them as one of the greatest players to walk or to play disc golf.
No, I know.
If they've racked up 409 wins in advance. Because again, we all know, and I use this in the example.
You can get 100 wins in rec, 50 wins in AM. You move up to pro, you get 50 to 60 wins in pro. What's your number? Is it 50 to 60?
50 to 60.
Not according to the PDGA.
Well, I know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, who's going to go back? It's the stat argument you and I have had offline. Who's going to go back and look and be like, oh, God, well, the PDGA doesn't break it out. It just says wins. Oh, that person has 600 wins. This person
and the first thing I would click on is their wins, and then I would see how many of those who became Am versus Pro.
You would, but if you're just looking at flat stats and you just say, hey, who has the most wins?
And I've never heard of that person, and they have 607 wins.
Well, if they have 50 open wins, you'd probably hear
maybe
them.
Not if they're 50 C tiers in Idaho.
You might.
They're 50 flex start C tiers in Idaho.
Maybe
I'm sorry, I don't care about you.
I understand, and I agree with the concept. All I'm saying is it just plain stats. Sometimes numbers do lie.
I will say a win is a win, and I'm not taking away wins from anyone.
Sounds like you're
Let me be very
on...
clear on that. And I've always said, all you can do is beat whoever shows up. That's all you can do. I also understand that, and I very much abide by that. However, if you're talking about any type of quality to your win or your win count or numbers, like those do matter in my book, and I understand they may not to others. All right, well,
we beat that.
We've gotten winded on that conversation.
We beat that. We won.
Yeah,
right.
winded on that conversation.
But that's okay.
You can. Yours was wrong. Mine was. Anyway, so yes, that's what I could say quickly about the cold turkey, even though we got wildly off subject. Thank you again to all those people. Funny enough, it was single camera, thanks to my buddy John. It's fully edited. Yeah, not you. You're useless. It's fully edited. And had my daughter not been sick today, it would have also gotten commentary and gotten released today. So I'm going to release that ASAP. The two big things people are screaming at me for, half understandably, Battle for Bedford is being edited by some new editors who also filmed. And the other one on the docket is the Monster Mash that took place down in Florida. So those are both next in the queue. And I know people keep asking me about what's in the queue. I have dozens and dozens of rounds that are going to continue to unfold. Speaking of which, and I didn't even talk to Simon about this, also released a skins match this last weekend, and people are enjoying that.
Simon Lizotte.
Yeah, that starred one Simon Lizotte. So go out and enjoy that. It's on my channel. The music's loud. We've heard you loud and clear. The music is loud on that video. I didn't do that. All right, statmando.com. That's where you can look up all your information, as Dion's put it out there.
No, actually, I put it out there.
And Dion continues to do some pretty amazing things, and we appreciate what you and your team are doing over there as well. And Dion is working on it. I love it. 80% of Pro Masters could beat 100% advanced AMs. I think that's a regional statement.
Yeah. I think it depends on your area.
But probably true.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, of course. Pro Masters are pretty good.
Very good players.
All right. Also saw by our friends over at Sun King that the Throwdown the Mountain 10 will in fact be a USDGC qualifier next year. I think that's also of note or noteworthy. It's one of the few events that I don't feel like it's obviously a huge event, but it's not necessarily a pro tour stop, or it's not a previous national tour, or whatever the case might be. So looking forward to that being one of the first events in the 2022 USDGC bid for your whatever. Also, oh, sweet. I'm sorry. I'm just also seeing news that it looks like the 9th annual Maricopa Open, presented by Infinite Disc, an event I've been kind of a staple at in terms of filming. Looks like things are going to be opening up in a couple days. That's another event that I'm looking forward to being at next year, come January. So very cool. I know they were waiting on a few details to see if the event in fact could happen with regard to the Homeowners Association. And by a post I saw an hour ago now, it looks like that's going to move forward. Man, 2022. It's like 30-some days away. What do you think of that?
A lot of work to do.
Okay. What are you going to work on?
I want to do some pro tour stuff, start to maybe build out our setup for next year. I've got a review and an email Mo sent me regarding some of the things that we're looking forward to doing next year.
Okay.
And then just personal stuff around the house. I might hang up some shelves or cabinets in our laundry room. I might build an island for our kitchen. So we'll see. I can do that stuff, Terry.
I will remain silent. All right, I'm going to answer a question from Daryl, and then with that, we'll start to actually shut her down for the regular show and then head into the after show. But he does ask, Terry, the question is, who will be the media in disc golf 10 years from now? I bet it will be a whole new crowd that everyone listens to then.
That's tough. If you're placing bets, Disc Golf Network has taken, quote unquote, taken over a majority of the biggest events media wise. That would be a guess I would have, in 10 years, that a majority of stuff is, assuming platforms stay the same, that majority of the stuff is found on Disc Golf Network. And who produces it behind the scenes, that's to be determined. Virtually every other sport, you have no clue who produces things behind the scenes, and it's just on NBC, CBS. That's the way we will probably get, where we won't have
as much brand recognition.
Recognition for that type of stuff. I see a day in our future where we have the Disc Golf Network, and then we have the other channels producing other events, or tertiary cards, or there's an agreement that they put it on the Disc Golf Network if they want, and they get paid to do that, and that we don't have a lot of the branding that we have now. You won't see Ace Run Productions, or if you do, it'll be very minor. So I don't know. I could be wrong there.
Yeah, and if you want to go, even to dig a little deeper as to some of the hosts or some of the personalities, I think you're going to clearly continue to see some of our players that have moved on from their glory days of competition and then naturally shift into a role of being more involved from a media perspective. Let's face it, there's not a huge exit strategy otherwise for a lot of our disc golf community right now. And I think that's going to continue to change. But if you were a really good disc golfer for 10 years and then you didn't actively pursue and strengthen and create and form a bond or a relationship with a manufacturer or a significant sponsor to continue your quest and your legacy and everything else, if you haven't been actively pursuing that, the other option seems to be media. Otherwise, are you going to then go get your first job or pick your job back up doing a million other things, maybe insurance, flipping burger, whatever the case is? Disc golf now has more opportunities than ever before in terms of your post-competitive career. But there's still not that many. They're there, and there's more, but there's not an abundance of them.
Yeah, I think I've said this a few weeks ago, that they're in the next 10 years, there's a reckoning coming for a lot of these pros that there won't be the media positions that they think that some of them will step into. And I find it really interesting the different ways that the media companies handle the talent. Because you can see on, we'll say Jomez, for instance, they have made stars out of their commentators. They handle them with, exclusive shirts and practice rounds and things like that. Disc Golf Pro Tour media has done nothing like that. And I don't foresee them doing that. I don't foresee the Disc Golf Pro Tour taking whoever is going to be doing the commentary and trying to make them a forefront of the business, because Big Sexy Barry is very much out in front of Jomez. Like, they are a spotlight, and you've got other production companies that have, Too Hot Geese. You've got other people that try to kind of make stars out of the commentators. Pro Tour, I don't think, has any inclination of doing anything like that, and they are focusing more on the play, and the commentary should be secondary. So I will be interested to see how that changes over the next 5 to 10 years when, there is no push for your brand. If you are a commentator on the Disc Golf Network, if it's Terry and AJ Risley and name another pro in 10 years, the Disc Golf Network or Disc Golf Pro Tour isn't going to be pushing the AJ Risley exclusive disc.
Yeah.
To do that. That's just not how production tends to work in most major sports. So I don't know. It's gonna be some fun 10 years, and we'll still be here. In this
I was just thinking, I'm looking for my exit strategy tonight. Get the hell out of here.
Trying to find another media company to jump onto.
Just another sport.
That's fine. I got ideas.
I got enough frisbees. Maybe I just need to move into another sport. I could collect
paddleball rackets or something.
Yeah, pickleball rackets. I could find something. I'll find something else to get into yet. All right, guys, we're going to call it for the regular show. All that really means is we're going to wrap things up here. Then we're going to come back in a few moments after that. We're going to have the after show. If you're new here, just know that the after show is, believe it or not, a little looser than anything you've already heard. There we may touch on a little pop culture or other things that are taking place. It might be disc golf related or it may not be. It doesn't really matter, but we also invite you to join us in the chat boards. If you have specific questions or things you'd like us to answer or expand upon or maybe address, you can certainly put those in the chat, and we'll do our best to play along with all of that. And the after show always features a giveaway. So if you're a Patreon supporter and subscriber of ours here at Smashbox TV, you are eligible for the weekly giveaway. And we continue to give away some great stuff. So looking forward to it when you guys can join us there. So we're going to close it out. We want to thank Simon Lizotte, all the incredible insight and and smiles and good vibes that he always brings to any production that's taking place. Make sure you check out all the work that he's doing both on his channel as well as the Disc Golf Network. We've got Johnny V, myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. This has been podcast 379. We'll see you in the after show. You step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the Smashbox TV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashboxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast 379's After Show. It's the After Show, ladies and gentlemen, where just about anything goes.
Things get
within
wild.
reason. Yeah. Now, that is a wild disclaimer there. Thank you guys for joining us. What are we post? I truly am losing a little bit of the relevance of days, weeks, months, whatever. So we are post Thanksgiving. It's easy to forget like what day. I know it's Tuesday, but what we talked about last week, when there was a holiday, I think I'm all mixed up from running an event this weekend, and so much fun to be had out there. In a couple days, I'm under 30 hours from now, I will be getting on a plane and heading to the land of gators.
Florida.
Me and my boy Florida will be kicking it.
Hanging with Pitbull.
Probably not.
All right.
Will Smith will be in Miami. Big Willie style. Okay, probably not. And I won't be there either. Bill Sherman's there, though, down in that area. Anyway, yes, looking forward to it this weekend, as they refer to it as the CHO, the Chain Hawk Open, taking place this weekend. Some solid players, as one would expect. Some solid players signed up for this A-tier. You want to guess the caliber, Johnny?
I'm going to guess if it's the Chain Hawk Open. What city is it in?
Gainesville.
So you're looking a little bit more North Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Dickerson.
Out of Tennessee.
Calvin Heimberg. Johnny McRae. Maybe.
C.R. Wiley.
I was going to say maybe a Ron Russell, but...
the Rustler.
But...
1999 world champion.
How tall was Ron Russell?
PDGA 9999. I'm going to guess he was either 6. Initially, I was going to say 6'3". I feel like that's a little short. I was going to say 6'4" or 6'5".
Okay. Because I don't... Anyway, I have this idea going on, and one of the questions I had
Ask
was,
how tall world champs are?
Yeah. Who's our tallest world champ? That was the question.
Pro world champ? Do we have to get into this again? Pro or am? Pro.
Sure, pro.
Presumably a MPO, because they're going to be taller than most of our FPO
how tall is
champs.
Stork? 6'6"?
Juliana Corver.
Anyway, but...
Yeah, Stork, 6'6".
Yeah. He never won MPO, but I was thinking MPO, who the tallest world champion is.
That's a great question.
I think it's Ricky, who is 6'5". According to the internets, that's what the internet
Was there a
says.
debate of this somewhere? Was
No.
this conversation had anyway?
Not at all. This is just something I was thinking of. Because...
Do you need more time to think of other stuff?
No, because I was thinking about tonight, actually's podcast, before you had said that, announced that Simon was going to be on. I was like, what are we going to fill the night with? And talk a little about Cold Turkey. I'm like, we could do a trivia night. That would be kind of fun.
Sure.
And so I was thinking of just different styles of questions, and one of which was players and world champions. And I was just thinking, who's our tallest world champion? That could be a fun question. I think it's Ricky at 6'5". Because I couldn't find the wrestler's height.
Yeah, and my best...
Climo was like 6'2".
Yeah, 6'2", 6'3", probably. I would have guessed. Ron Russell. I'm going to see if Ron Russell is potentially on Wikipedia. That would be our best bet. There
is a Ron Russell, but I do not believe it is a disc golf Ron Russell. There's a different Ron Russell, some actor, I believe.
You would think, though, here's world champs. Okay.
Yeah, but they don't,
no?
Yeah, but they don't have stats. They don't have, height.
Rochester... Ron Russell. I just was thinking.
Correct. Stokely never won.
Yeah,
Worlds.
Stokely would have been initially the first guess that you would jump to. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I guess we're going to make this real easy and just we're going to cheat a little and look down the list. Greg Hosfeld in his tallest. No. Russell, not Cam Todd. Schultz. How tall Schultz? Is he 6'2", 6'3"?
6'2", yeah.
Not Doss, not Macbeth, not Avery, or not McCabe.
Nope.
James Conrad.
Nope.
No? How tall is he?
6'3", I believe.
Well, this is a dumb game. because we don't know the answers.
No, I'm almost certain it's Ricky at 6'5".
Huh. I'm sorry. I'm now just catching up with the board.
I'm fairly certain of it. So again, it's just one of those things that popped into my head, and I thought I'd bring it up in the after show because I didn't do a trivia night. So that was the. You
got any other good question? Who's the shortest?
That I don't know. It might be Eric McCabe. I don't know him compared to Doss, because Doss isn't very tall. Doss is what, 5'9"?
I was gonna say 5'9", 5'10". I was gonna say about almost exact. I feel like just about my height, which is 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", somewhere in that neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I'm not 5'10". I'm probably. All right, now.
But I don't know some of the like your Sam Farron's. I don't know his height. I don't know like some of the.
Yeah, he certainly didn't tower.
No, some of the older.
And he won when he was
players.
16.
Yeah. So.
I'm gonna text. We'll see. I'm gonna see if I can text Wysocki, and I'm literally gonna text him. Are you the tallest world champion we've ever had?
Yep. And Sue in Raleigh says Ricky is 6'5". Correct. That's what I could find on the internet. So that is what I'm going with as the tallest. My only question was Ron Russell, who I know was a tall gentleman. It wouldn't shock me if you told me Russell was 6'5".
Yeah.
Like he's 6'4", 6. Like
was he 6'6"?
He might have been, but
I have such a weird bias standing next to your lanky self all these years,
and it's so hard for me to tell. Like all I know is that someone's like, "Oh, you're as tall as me," but I never look at whatever. So
maybe Schwebby's a gentleman out on the board here, saying he's saying I'm 6'4". Ricky is not taller than me.
I don't know, Schwebby. According to the internets, they never lie. The internet say he's 6'5". So
okay. Anyway, what else you got? No, any other trivia? That's where your trivia started and ended.
That I started kind of writing just categories of questions, like sponsorship, player stats, disc information, and I had one more written down. A player bio stuff, just information about players. And that was the very first question for whatever reason, because I was looking at a list of the world champs. And for whatever reason, when I started from the bottom of MPO, the most recent, I was like, how tall is Conrad? And then it just kind of hit me with the whole disc golf cards we have releasing. It was in my head about the different stats. And so that's where I went. And I never got past that particular question. I just had categories for questions. So that is... the other question I was thinking is how many of our world championships have gone into playoffs? I don't know the answer. It's like 3 or 4.
I can tell you it is 4.
Okay. And at least in MPO, I would probably have to include MPO.
It is 4, which is, again, great fodder. Greg Hosfeld defeated Michael Sullivan.
Schwebby says he thinks Rustler is 6'5".
In 1987. Of course, Avery Jenkins defeating Josh Anthon in the playoff.
Oh, that was the other question I was thinking. Who has the most second place finishes without winning a world championship?
I was going to say, would it be MPO? Stokely? It's got to be Stokely. No, not necessarily. No, holy cow.
I think Stokely had 2. He might have had 3, tied with Anthon, who has 3.
Oh, no, duh. It's Anthon.
Yeah,
it's Anthon.
Anthon had 3 in a row.
Yeah, he had 3 in a row.
But I think Stokely had 3, just not necessarily in a row.
Holy cow, it's not. I'm getting dumber here every minute.
Yeah.
Look at that. Paul Macbeth also had 3 in a row.
Correct.
16, 17, and
but
18.
But Paul had a world championship. I was saying without winning a world championship. Although that would be a good question, too. Who had the most second places?
Steve Rico's got runner-up.
He's got 2.
2 years in a row.
Okay, here's a question for FPO. I looked this up as well. Who has the most second places without winning a world championship in FPO? It's difficult because
almost everyone you think of has eventually
won because you'd say, oh, Paige Pierce has a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, Des Redding has a few seconds.
Yeah, Val.
But who has the most seconds without
the win?
Without the win.
Oh my
Terry?
gosh. God, I don't even know who I would guess.
Late 90s.
I was gonna say like a Marie Elsner, but she won it the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Never mind. She's
Later
I'm
than
an
that,
idiot.
though. I would say in our early era of playing.
Leslie Herndon?
Nope, she has one, I believe. One second place win.
Oh, she has one second place. Courtney McCoy comes to mind.
Nope.
I don't know if she's
not Jen Allen.
No.
Got to think late 90s.
Late. Angela Chigfry?
Nope.
No, that was a little too young. She was a few years before that.
Maybe even mid 90s, mid to late 90s.
Mid to late 90s.
I believe a California native.
Oh, Annie Kreml.
Bang.
Yeah, Berlager would have been another.
Berlager would have been a good guess.
After suggesting.
Annie had 3 as well. I think it was 3. It might have been 3 in a row even. It's on that page somewhere, but so
okay.
Annie Kreml.
All right. And that is how you do random disc golf trivia.
Welcome to the after show.
I don't know that there's a lot going on. I was going to say PDGA wise. I know we continue to see
a bunch of discs that got
discs that are approved. You usually give those a quick shout out. Why don't you do that, Johnny?
I believe
if you have them handy. Or are these not new?
I don't believe there's any new. I don't believe there's any
Oh yeah,
new.
because we talked about the Glory and so on and so forth. Okay, so no approvals. Has there been any official news regarding PDGA radio?
No.
Okay, so the secret I know about that I should keep.
Yes.
Okay, there's something I think in the works for PDGA radio.
I think,
which I'd love to see revised or
revived.
Revived. Thank you. I was going to say revitalized. Revived. Yeah. That's the word.
I don't know if it's needed.
Why not?
It depends on what its purpose is.
Okay.
If its purpose is to come on and tell you about a bunch of winners, sure. I have no problem with that because a lot of that is dry. And I know we talk about some of just the big major winners. There are enough disc golf podcasts now where I don't necessarily know if the PDGA putting in money to a podcast is the right move. Because there are things that the PDGA, and this is true about this is true about us. There's stuff we know right now that we can't talk about. But the PDGA one, I don't necessarily know what the focus should be. Maybe the focus should be on, hey, these are the new discs that are approved, and maybe you have a list of winners, and maybe you have a general story. It's a once a month podcast where you go a deep dive into one of the the stories that's on the PDGA, like the James Conrad one. You have a good interview with him. But to talk about current events, I don't feel like that's necessarily the right move for the PDGA. Because what is someone on the PDGA going to sit and talk about Eric Oakley's contract status? I don't feel that's appropriate. I don't think that's necessarily what they should be focused on, nor what they should probably even be talking about.
Sure.
But I'm not saying I'm against them coming out. I just need to know what that right format is. Because there very well could be a very good format that they have that fits exactly with what I think the PDGA should be doing, and I just haven't thought of it yet. Like if you were to tell me, oh, they're doing X, Y, and Z, I'd be like, oh, that makes total sense, and yes, they should do that because they would be the best ambassadors of that.
I feel like there could be at this point, and maybe it's a bit much, but at least monthly, there could be just a straight like stats and growth and just overall update provided.
Yes.
Once a month. Here's your stats. Our newest number, our latest number. This many events took place this last month. Blah blah blah. Like I think you could be really just driven, and some of that might feel somewhat dry to me, but it wouldn't to plenty of other people. And it would be kind of like a state of the PDGA every month. And I think that could, if that was one idea of a format, I think that could be kind of cool.
100% agree. And I think they were the best purviewers. And I liked what Steve and Sarah had done. I liked their podcast. I don't necessarily think it's the right move to revive that style of podcast.
Sure.
There are certain things I feel like the PDGA should probably just stay out of. And a lot of it is the social media fray. If we have... Terry, if you make an awful post on social media that offends...
Let me do that right now. Go on.
...a bunch of people, is that something the PDGA should be talking about?
No.
So there is a limit to what the PDGA has and should talk about. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, because I think they balanced this line fairly well, but Steve and Sarah at the time for PDGA Radio, they would kind of dip their toe into that a little bit for their podcast, and I don't think they should as a PDGA representative. So, but no, what you had announced, maybe even have like, hey, this month we're gonna have Nate Heinold on, we're gonna have Joe Chargoloff on, we're gonna have Pete Christ on, we're gonna talk PDGA tech, and I think there could be a very good podcast that comes out of the PDGA. Just I need to know what it is.
Okay.
I
well,
did that same search and
I
still
figured.
couldn't find it.
Ricky replied to me via text.
Ooh.
And I said, "Are you the tallest world champion we've ever had? You 6'5"? Anyone taller?" He says, "I don't know. I feel like I am. What made you think of that?" I said, "We were in the after show rambling about silly disc golf trivia." And I said, "How tall is Ron Russell?" He says, "I was just thinking that actually it's between me and him, I think."
So they're probably very close in height. So Russler's probably 6'4", 6'5".
If I see Ron this weekend when I'm in Florida, I don't think he's not signed up or there. But if somehow he shows up,
seek him out.
I will
He's in
get a tape
Jacksonville,
measure
right?
out. I will get a tape measure out, and I will measure him. And it won't be weird.
It will be very
I'm
awkward.
not even going to tell him what I'm doing or what it has anything to do with.
Eric Prosh Jensen says, so are we PBS, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, or Fox? Which one are we?
Oh, my gosh.
I want to be NPR.
Yes.
Welcome to Smashbox TV.
We
Here
pretty much
on
fit that.
Smashbox Network.
Getting back to an original thought I started with this weekend, yes, we're going to see the likes of, and I'm going to go by rating here and read them off to you. I'm super excited. We're going to see Calvin Heimberg.
All right.
Garrett Gerthy. Corey Ellis.
I forgot about Double G.
Thomas Gilbert. Casey White, who was out on the board. Johnny McRae, I'm assuming we're going to see. I know I saw on social media that they suffered a loss in their family, so we certainly wish you guys, everyone, the best and hugs and hope that everyone's okay. So presumably, though, we are scheduled at this point, though, to see Johnny McRae, Jamie Keep, Sullivan Tipton, and so on and so forth, and then continue on with more. There's actually 15,000 plus rated players. So I'm excited.
How about FPO?
I'm excited. Yeah, that's also a great field. I am excited to bring you I'll have a first round feature card, and then rounds 2 and 3, I'm going to have the chase card. Fox Hills Productions, like they were last year, are a local crew, so they have dibs on lead card, and they will be doing that for rounds 2 and 3. They're going to have a feature card also round 1, but then rounds 2 and 3, they'll have the lead card. Over in the FPO division, super excited. I'm going to sort them specifically here by rating. As of right now, signed up, we've got Jessica Weiss, Madison Walker, Deanne Carey, Ellen Widboom, Shakalaka, Chloe Alice, Sandy, Pam, Susan, Victoria, and Amy. So, some really solid competitors. Looking forward to it. If there's any way I can pull off the idea of actually getting the FPO's final round, I think I'm working on trying to do that as well. So, look for that.
I'll be busy, Terry.
At the show.
I can't help you. So.
No, you can't. From home?
No.
Whatever. All right, let's read.
Got to do volunteering at a swim meet this weekend. My kid's doing a swim meet, and when your kids sign up for sports,
then
they rope the parents into like so many volunteer hours. Otherwise, you have to pay extra.
Yep. Been there, done that.
But so this is my volunteer weekend.
So did you pay? So just as a quick comparison, and some of you can chime in also if you've been in this situation. My 2 daughters have done a number of things, but one of them being cheerleading. The way they structure it is you pay for the year, and if you volunteer at some point during the football games throughout the year, you get essentially some of that money back.
Oh no, that's not how they.
So it's.
That seems like a logistical nightmare.
They basically say, hey, I'll just make up a number. You owe us $200. Your kid is doing cheerleading this year. You owe us $200. However, if you volunteer for at least 4 hours, you can earn one of those $100 back.
I understand.
So that's how they do it.
I understand the reasoning behind that. Obviously, you have the money in hand. You don't have to think about it. But for swimming, at least the way it has worked, my credit card's on file with them because it's a monthly cost or whatever. It costs us like $100 or $120 to have him on the swim team and do all the events and whatnot. That if I don't volunteer, I will see another bill at some point in the month. And
if you don't volunteer, I know, isn't that funny?
Throw that in quotes.
Yeah.
And I've heard that for this particular setup, it is a very steep penalty. I don't even know the number, but someone had thrown out the number of like $600, which I don't know how accurate that is. Or how true
sounds like
that
some
was.
Great extortion.
That does sound like extortion. So I think I'm doing timing. I think I'm going to be sitting with a timer at one of the lanes. It's that or kitchen duty. I forget which one. They were both open, and I can't remember which one I signed up for. Those were the two that were open because I signed up so late.
I'd love to see you lob hot dogs into the pool from the kitchen area.
That would be pretty awesome.
Just tossing old wieners out into the pool.
Not appropriate?
I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. Aaron out on the board says John Kirkland, going back to the tall world champs, kind of tall back in the day. Yes, John Kirkland, world champion, but not world champion in the MPO division. He in 2016 had won, but not MPO. So Peter Shive also tall. Yeah, I guess you got to start looking at some of your. If you looked at some of our taller Masters age players throughout the year, or Jim Oates. Think about big old Jim Oates.
Jim Oates,
not a short fellow by any means.
No.
All right, Aaron, have a good night. He says he's got to run. Thank you for what you do, meaning us silly heads. Well, we appreciate that. Thanks for joining us tonight, Aaron. And hopefully the next time I see you is in Thailand. I'd be down with that. All right, so Pete Davidson is dating Khloe Kardashian. Or Kim, I think, actually.
He is.
Yeah, I just thought I'd randomly throw that out there. I don't know that we haven't much else. We got a giveaway. Why don't you line that up?
It's all lined up, Terry Miller.
Okay, let's get to it.
We have 182 people eligible for our Smashbox TV Patreon giveaway this week. If you want to be eligible, you can sign up at patreon.com/SmashboxTV at any one of our levels, minimum of $1 a month. But we'll take more. And in fact, I just ordered the sweatshirts for this particular clothing quarter. We're doing a very nice sweatshirt because I slacked off and missed last quarter. So rather than 2 T-shirts, instead you're getting a sweatshirt, which is very nice. So it'll be a nice one with a big Smashbox logo on it. I think black is the color that we chose because that's what Miles had on hand. So
so a lot of thought.
A lot of thought went into that
and
one.
Love.
It did actually a lot of love. I thought about what we wanted to give away. Because I thought about doing scarves or beanies or something, being a winter season, but I went with sweatshirt because I thought that was really nice. But anyway, patreon.com/SmashboxTV. You can sign up and get access to this. We have 182 people eligible for our giveaway. Terry Miller, I need to know what number. Give me a number, Terry Miller.
I would try and go. I want to
number.
go with like the Lizotte methodology of like I don't know what number I want or what year I'm in my contract. It could be 3rd or 4th or 2nd. I don't know. Let's go with the 3rd number though.
The 3rd number. All right. So first number is 145. Second number is 55. We have sorted them today by first name. Our 3rd number is 163. 163.
Gotta be a name that starts with a T.
163 starts with an S. Oh. Sorry, Terry. It's Stephen Ashley Jr. Nowhere close to Federico Sorensen. He's way up at top. So Stephen Ashley Jr., congratulations on winning your prize this week. Terry's going to send you a complete set of the 2016 PDGA playing cards.
Disc Golf Pro Tour cards.
Disc Golf Pro Tour cards, yeah.
That's what I'll be sending out.
Just kidding.
Probably not. No, I will not be sending those. No. But we'll get you something special.
I remember at one point I sent out an individual card or two to some people. Those are probably worth some decent cards. I don't remember who it was that we sent out. Like what the card was that we sent out to someone. But I know we've sent out 1 or 2 of those. Way back when. Before we realized
they're worth money. Now you want them all back.
Yes, please send me all your 2016 cards.
I would ask for them back. And speaking of a quick little throwback, last few days, some other special people. Holland Hanley, who we had recently, did celebrate her birthday. She turned 27. Happy birthday to you, Holland. And then also Dinko over in Croatia. I hope you're up watching, listening, whatever it might be. Dinko, I know we were able to give you a birthday shout out the other day, but we love you, buddy, and thanks for being such an incredible supporter. And keep doing pretty damn big things over there in Croatia, and I'm hoping to find my way back there sometime soon. Ooh, Nathan Perkins celebrates a birthday tomorrow.
He does.
Let's call him.
The perk?
12:01. 12:01. We got to wait just another 45 minutes. We'll give him a call.
Well, it depends. Where is he?
He's probably, I'm going to guess Texas.
So that's
same time.
Yeah, that's Central Time Zone, so it's still not his birthday.
Let's call him. Perk, you up? Anyway, happy birthday to him. All right, Johnny. I don't know that I got much else. It's going to be maybe an early night for us. That's what's happening in the off season.
Razorhausen asks, what is the age/gender breakdown for our audience? I don't know. It's a great question. I don't know if in the YouTube analytics...
Are they getting older like we are?
I would assume so. I think that... do you think that the younger players skew towards like a different podcast?
Probably.
More towards the foundation stuff?
Maybe them, maybe others. I don't know. But I would assume so. I have to just guess that some people look at us as old boomer types. I do not feel I am that way. Usually if I'm making an age-based joke, it is laced with some kind of either cynicism and or sarcasm. And usually I'd like to think I'm mildly hip to the trends, as the kids say.
As all those kids say.
They do. But I'm sure we do not appeal to a certain age group of individuals. I would absolutely assume that.
No surprise. I just grabbed a random live video that we had. We skew very heavily male, as most of the sport does.
Which is funny. We have two women for that podcast, and well, then maybe that one makes more sense.
I think this doesn't include the live audience. I believe this is just saying. In general, though, it looks like a majority of our listeners are 35 to 44, so right around our age. That's 33%. 33%. 23% younger, and 23% in the 45 to 54, and about 20% in 55 to 64. So that's general. That's one podcast. I don't know what tonight's would be, if it would skew a little differently with a different guest. I'm sure they all kind of little in flux,
follow.
But
yeah, and there's no doubt, as you're just saying, with regard to the analytics, when you have, we'll say, household name superstars, I feel like your analytics are going to just vary so much more as opposed to when you have, a specific person or promoter, or maybe someone that's not as well known. You might have your diehard viewers or your specific fans of them, but it might not be quite as wide of a base, that's for sure. That's all right. I'm guessing Eric's saying if they're not watching, yeah, I agree with you, Eric. Eli, we already talked about you and your re-signing. I'd like to see the details of that contract, though, and I'm saying that in all seriousness, partially because I'm nosy, not because anyone owes it to me, but
everyone owes it to you, right?
I would love to know a little bit more about some of the ins and outs, and I also realize contracts more and more are getting individualized. There's obviously a baseline for a lot of our contracts, but then I'm sure they individualize them when it comes down to the specific players. And I know you talked about that earlier about, people breaking contracts and maybe some of the reasons for them. That might be some of the reason that you see some of our players coming and going, I think, is the fact that a contract may be really beneficial to somebody, and even someone else who's quote unquote on that same level has a totally different agreement. And I think that's something that's rearing its head here, and that's why you're seeing some of these contracts end early and some of the shifts that we're going to continue to see moving forward. I think that very much plays into it.
I don't have anything else, Terry. I think we can probably wrap the show up for tonight.
It looks like we can. I don't see any other pressing questions on the board, but we do appreciate all of you guys for joining in and playing along with us. Thank you so much. We see so many regulars out there. We hope that you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and looking forward to, well, with each passing week, we're that much closer to the 2022 season. And next thing you know, I feel like it's going to be right on top of us and right back into it for the grind. So we got to thank Simon Lizotte in the regular show. I want to thank Ricky Wysocki for for the texting in to give us the details of what he thinks is him being one of the tallest world champions. We hope that you guys have a good start here to December. And looking forward to seeing you guys next week. We're going to be here for Podcast 380. That's all we got. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, look for that show coverage coming at you. I'll try and get it out next day if I can, but look for that, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smashbox.